300 hours into a game, I went, I'm going to clear my save.
Yeah.
You only get the one. I can't have multiple saves on it. So it's like, this is just an account.
Yeah.
I'm just going to wipe it.
Alex, on the last episode, we were talking about the the sparseness of save points in games that are overly difficult and retreads.
We were referencing a video the librarian had done while doing a playthrough of Rain World.
Right, a game that I have not played. Maybe one day I will, but
I have also not played it. But I do really enjoy the librarian's content. Hey, librarian, if you see this video, come on our show. Thanks.
Like and subscribe. But also,
let us. Invited. Let's go.
Yes. Let us know if you'd like to come on and talk about something. But in the meantime, one thing that I did think about that we didn't really touch on was the idea of like hardcore modes. And for those who don't know, when I'm saying hardcore or Ironman, it's basically the idea that there are no respawns, there are no save points. If you die, you're dead, and the game is over for you.
Well, there may not be save points necessarily. It's not like a Mario playthrough where you turn the game off and you start over. There's usually like one save slot kind of deal.
Right, and if you die, the save goes away, basically.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't access it anymore. Sometimes it's retired. Sometimes it is deleted. I know for like a Diablo character in hardcore mode, I don't remember if it's 4 or 3, for instance, if you die in hardcore mode, you have a chance that you can just like take your character out of hardcore mode and then keep them going as a normal character.
Oh, gotcha.
But that's not always the case. So.
No. And Ironman mode, one that I talk about with strategy games, that's actually like XCOM does that, which is basically you have the one save file. It auto-saves basically after every single turn, which means that if your characters die, they're dead. They're gone. You have to get a new recruit in. You have to replace them. There's no turning back.
Right. The one thing I don't like about the strategy games that have an Iron Man mode is typically the only way you can unlock achievements for those games is by playing it in Iron Man mode.
Oh, okay.
For a lot of them, so it's like the intended difficulty of this game is Iron Man.
Right. XCOM, I think most unlocks without having to be an Iron. Because I don't play Iron Man.
Yeah. So. Maybe it's some other games, but generally speaking, the Iron Man mode, I know strategy games don't hit the same as they used to me. So
I understand. But I think the thing that was interesting to me from like a deeper context here is that I don't usually want to play in Iron Man or hardcore mode or anything like that, and I don't know if you like it or try it.
Not generally. There is one game I want to do a hardcore mode playthrough on, and that is No Man's Sky, but only because the achievement for getting to the center of the galaxy on permadeath mode, aka hardcore mode, only has like 0.7% of players have ever gotten it.
Oh, interesting.
And so I want to do it.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I would like to be the less than 1%.
Yeah, absolutely. Might be worth it for that. But
otherwise, I don't take myself seriously enough when I game. I don't grind that hard.
Right. And it reminds me of the reason why I don't do that, which is this sense of an inability of being able to let go of things. Never have I been able to exemplify that better than with Nier and Nier Automata, which I know you've played some of. And
I played through most of the B plot.
Most of the B, okay. You haven't gotten to
I'm fully aware of the entire playthrough. I have watched at least 1 or 2 video essays on Nier. Yeah, no, and
typically in both Nier and Nier Automata, it's playthrough E, Ending E, where we really get to a big choice, which is a hard one that I couldn't even really do, which was, you can see the actual ending, like the good ending, the real ending of the game, but you have to be okay with deleting your save game, and like literally all of your save game, all of your progress. You have to be willing to let all of that go, and essentially to help whoever comes after you, as the narrative goes. Even though I got to that point, I did not actually do that. I did not actually do that because I guess a part of me kept going, yeah, but what if I want to play again, and I don't want to start from the beginning, and I want to explore more, I want to do more. What if I do? I never did. But if I, which is the ironic thing, had I realized it, I guess I would have done it. But the fact of the matter is that it actually felt difficult after 30, 40 hours playing this game and having that experience of saying that we're going to literally wipe it away from the data that I did that in the first place. It's a hard thing because you get invested in a lot of these games and you spend a lot of time in them. And so the idea that just it's suddenly gone is a hard thing to do a lot of the time. It's one of the reasons why when you play like D&D or any of those, it's really hard to think that your character is going to die and not get resurrected and not come back and that it's over. Like, you know, for a very same reason. It's the inability of being able to let go. And hardcore modes, especially because what if just like a random, like I'm playing Diablo 2 and just like one of the random fallen comes behind me, smacks me one more time than I needed to.
Yeah.
And my whole playthrough is now over. It is ended.
So I think it's both a little bit of a unwillingness to let go, but also maybe a feeling of being cheated or a feeling of unfairness.
Yeah, okay.
Because for the example that you just gave with Diablo, it was just they got a critical strike on me.
Yeah.
You know, that's such a low chance of that happening. That's not fair.
Right.
Or like a D&D, for instance, if your character dies, it's like, well, now I can't play anymore.
Right.
Especially if it were set up or if your character dies, you're out of the game, kind of deal.
Right.
Which I don't feel like that happens in most games, but as an example, you'd be like, oh, your character's died. Now you're done. Bye. And that would I feel like that would be a feeling of very unfairness. It's like, oh, you can resurrect me or whatever, and it's like, no, there's no way to resurrect you here. What are they gonna do? Carry your body 400 miles?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Or carry a finger. It's like, see you in 6 months when they resurrect you, I guess.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's both the feelings of unfairness or being, cheated out of being able to play more.
Right.
Perhaps as well.
Right. Which, I mean, you can always play again, but I guess you get invested in the characters and your time with it. There's a certain level of investment that you make personally when you're playing a game and into the characters and the story and everything like that. And the idea that it just kind of ends and it's gone. It's just lost to the ages. It's not that you can't pick the game back up, but you're done. You're basically done unless you go back to square one.
Yeah. I feel like a similar thing for me would be like a game that only has one save slot, for instance. Elite Dangerous, which I've mentioned I have probably like 700 hours in.
Yes.
I feel like I talked about it recently. Maybe it was with someone else, but...
No, I think you were talking about it on the show. But
was it? I have about 700, 800 hours in that game.
Sure.
And I, at one point, had gone in and been like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm like 300 hours in at that point. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea, like, what my goals, what I want to do. I'm like, I just want a fresh slate to do. 300 hours into a game, I went, I'm going to clear my save.
Yeah.
You only get the one. I can't have multiple saves on it, so it's like, this is just an account.
Yeah.
I'm just going to wipe it. And so I did, and then I started over. And I still don't know what I'm doing, but at least I have a better idea, I guess, of the game at that point. But
I played both Nier and Nier Automata, and I went through to the end. and both times when I played both games, I didn't actually wipe my save game. And I think one of the reasons was that it was also a game that I did not actually want to play through again. And it was because it was not going to be the same as that first time you play through that game.
Right.
And it was going to hit differently. Maybe that's just because of how very special those games are and how well they do narrative crafting for their storyline.
Well, if you were to play through it a second time, then you would have all the understanding from the first playthrough to then see everything in the true light that it was in as well, though.
Yes.
So sometimes games like that can have a reason to be played a second time. I believe Nier Replicant actually is one of those that has like a New Game Plus.
Yeah, Nier Replicant is a different version of the original Nier. So it's the same basic story. I think that's why I never bothered to play Replicant, because I played Nier, so it's the same.
Gotcha.
The protagonist is different, but the storyline and all the other characters are the same. So,
gotcha. Well, I did watch like a video about that one where the second playthrough, you actually, some of the things that are going on, you actually have better context into, because you can like understand the language and what's being said.
Well, I mean, you get better context in the later iterations of like Nier Automata 2. Because you start to understand what the robots are saying as you're going through like playthrough B, C, and D. The other place where I actually saw that, side note, is kind of a segue, but Lies of P. When you first play through Lies of P, all those automatons the puppets that you're fighting have like language that is just a bunch of symbols that you don't understand. When you go back and play New Game Plus, you can now read what they're saying in the same context of and
that's
now
like if you were to. That's like if you were to play The Quiet Man all the way through.
Oh God, I don't want to play.
And they added the. Yeah, no one did.
Fair.
But I guess after that, they added a New Game Plus mode to it, where actually all the dialogue is in there.
Yeah, and I understand that. I want to say that there was also a Zelda game that did that, maybe Wind Waker, where they had like secret languages.
Oh yeah. And then Final Fantasy X as well did something not the same, but the Albed primers you can get. If you go through a game and collect all the alphabet, so you learn their alphabet.
Right.
If you go back through to the beginning of the game on the new game, you can load in your Albed primers from a previous save.
Oh.
And then you'll know all the things the Albed language says through the entire game from that point.
Oh, interesting. I think it would be an interesting thing if they said, like, yeah, if you erase your save game, it's gone, but now we're going to give you other context if we, because you've unlocked another mode, so if you go back and play through again. I don't think that necessarily, I don't know if they did that with Automata, because I didn't actually do E. But maybe they did it with the original Nier. Now I'm wondering. This is also the reason why, like, roguelikes were not a thing I was big on. For that same reason, the just idea of no progress moving forward after a run ends. I can do roguelites because there's something that you get out of each run that you use to get better at stuff. But roguelikes, like the original one from back in the day, those are hardcore. They are, you die, you're gone. It's over.
I feel like there's a fundamental difference between deleting your save and then playing a game that is based on each death as its own run.
That is true.
I think the difference is the length of time you spend with it is very different, generally.
That's true. And they've done some really interesting things with it, too. Did you ever try playing Hades?
No, I haven't played Hades. I've played a bunch of... I enjoy roguelites a lot, for the most part, but I have not played Hades.
Yeah, Hades does have some upgradable abilities when you go back, but it's very light. What you do, however, get is as you progress through the game and you die, when you come back, there's other dialogue and conversations that happen with the characters in the game. So you get rewarded by getting better narrative framework for what's going on. So I think that's a helpful thing. But yeah, no, just the general idea of being able to scrap the whole thing and start new feels a little like the death of your game time. like literally, like being able to let go seems like a chore in itself. Maybe the hardest achievement for you to do as a game, which is literally letting go of everything that you've done and being willing to just let it be. I find that that's very difficult, and I think that that's the reason why in like Nier Automata, that was what they required of players, is to be willing to actually sacrifice your game in order to achieve the actual ending, which is kind of brilliant of Yoko Taro. But I have never really been able to play hardcore modes for that same reason. Because I just feel like I'm gonna look away for a moment, I'm gonna die, and even though I'm like 4 chapters in, or acts, or whatever, it's all gone now, and I'm never getting it back. Too bad, so sad. And
too bad, so sad. Ha 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 ha, you died.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, maybe if I was better at letting go of things and not hoarding, I might... If I didn't have that personality, I'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
But
maybe you gotta play more roguelikes.
Maybe that's something I should try. Just a pure roguelike game where there's no advancement after you end a run, and you just gotta get better at it every single time. It's hard.
Dark Souls hardcore mode.
Oh my god. Has anyone tried a Dark Souls?
I don't. Probably.
Yeah, if you can do Dark Souls 1 run, no respawns, that would be something.
No armor, no level ups.
Oh my god. 1 stat challenge. I 1 hit dead.
Yeah.
Remember that one time I tried to do Fallout New Vegas as a 1 stat challenge? Which was, I thought that it would be an interesting thing is I set all of my stats, like all of my skills, all of my stats, my health, my weight carrying capacity, everything to 1 to start the game.
I do remember this. It apparently was not good.
A bloatfly kept killing me every time I went to the graveyard outside Good Springs.
Sounds about right.
And and also because I set my weight carrying capacity to 1, I couldn't carry like anything with me.
I think you just crippled yourself at that point.
Yeah,
so.
That was a bad idea. I do not suggest trying that in the future. If that was a hardcore mode, I guess I would have been done real quick. I would ask everybody out there if you have played in hardcore mode, if you get anything out of it and how you enjoy them. Because I have never found them to be particularly... I find them to be stressful, if nothing else, in a way that I don't appreciate.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments down below.